Bonjour, Binacio, Binikazuina, Ginore, Dotem. I come from the Great Northern Pike Clan. It's a great honor, Adam, for me to be able to do this and also hear from others in regards to many of the sacred teachings that are amongst our people. I believe everybody at many different levels works toward understanding these things that I'm expressing today and how I interpret them into English. So today's our topics on honesty. Wekwatisiwin is in Ojibwe. For me, a lot of the things that I think about, not necessarily the words that we speak, I believe our actions speak louder than words. And I wanted to mention that on my first fast, and I really had to think about it, it's just like they gave me 4 years. The Spirit gave me 4 years to think about the things that I had said. Because as I came from my fast, after 4 days of sitting on an island, I came across a family of ducks, and I picked up the smallest baby duck out of this family, and I told the mother that I wanted to learn from this baby. And it was okay for me to put the little baby in my canoe so I could ride with her down the river. I knew that those ducks lived on that river, and the ducks felt comfortable in that river. So I promised the mother that I wouldn't take the ducks, that little baby, past the river onto the lake. So I didn't know how important my words were in what I was saying, to be honest, and to follow through with those words. And when I got to the other end of the river, going out into the lake, that's when I started to make excuses for wanting to change what I had said, what I had told the mother and those ducks. And one of the excuses was that I was coming from a place of love. I wanted to show that and take good care of that little baby duck. Not just from my end, but also thinking of, I had adopted a little girl. And she was about maybe 12 years old at the time. And I knew she'd love that duck. So there would be a lot of love heading toward that duck. And I convinced myself, because of that I could break my word, what I had said, that I started paddling out onto the lake. As soon as I got onto the lake, that little baby duck started crying. Never cried, never made a sound all that time that little baby duck was licking. When I realized I did something wrong, I really had to think about what I had just said, what I had told the mother and the other little ducks that were on the river. And I had to come back. I had to paddle back. But I already did something, although I turned around and went back into the river. I knew that I already did something that's going to continue to play in my mind. Because that little duck didn't stop crying. I thought it would stop crying once once I took him back into the river, but it kept crying, and I couldn't figure out why. But so I thought it would start crying right away, even apologizing to the little baby duck for taking them further out. And I went back into the river and put the baby duck down, and I could hear the little baby duck at this was swimming to meet the family, her mother and her other siblings down the river, but she was crying down the river. Must have scared her because I took her past that river. And it took 4 years. I believe the teaching remained for 4 years. It wasn't until 4 years after, again, I had gone on another fast as I was paddling down that river, that they asked me to stop and talk about the story if I had learned what I had learned from that little duck. And I learned, for me, it was how important it is for us to follow through, be honest in what we say, and to follow through with the words that we speak, and to keep that in our mind all the time as to what we're saying and whether we're being honest about how we're presenting the actions that we're taking. Because to me, all the actions that led up to my decision to take that little baby duck past the river into the lake was something that I started justifying to myself. I used to make it, and to think that it was okay for everybody else. And I think that those are things that we need to consider when it comes to honesty. That a lot of times it doesn't serve a purpose to blurt out things that you know are gonna also hurt somebody. A lot of the things may seem right with you in terms of what you want to bring out to people, but you got to stop and think, how is it going to affect those people? Or in my case, I never stopped to consider the feelings of the ducks, the mother, and the siblings of that little baby duck. And I thought I was thinking of the baby duck. I thought I was thinking of everybody as I was making that decision. So I think it's important to anything that we want to bring out, to make sure that it's coming from a good place, and it's not going to hurt anybody. That and 4 years after that incident with the little ducks, that 4 years after, when I stopped at that same spot, and it wasn't intentional. There was a little being, and it was a muskrat that seemed to stop me there. I heard a sound and I was curious. And one of the things that the elders used to tell me when I was a young man kept reminding me that the whole universe is listening. The whole universe is watching you, what you're doing and what you're saying. And you have to really think about your actions and also what you're saying. And for a long time, I pushed that aside and said, no, there's nobody listening. That old saying, when the tree falls in the forest, is anybody here? Anyways, nobody hears, nobody's going to see my actions, was my attitude. And when that little muskrat came, all of a sudden I was at a different space. I was talking to the muskrat, asking him what he wanted to tell me, what he was asking me. And I kept saying, I'm sorry, I don't understand. And it was such a powerful experience because all of a sudden I understood. I understood like I would understand my brother or my sister. And and they wanted an explanation. I had to stop and explain and tell what I had learned to a muskrat. And and I wanted to push it aside. I wanted to say, hey, you can follow me to the end of the river. I'll talk to you over there. Come and listen to me over there. But as I started to paddle away, I was just going to push him away with my paddle. The wind blew me away. The wind blew me onto the shoreline. And I realized that it's not just that little muskrat that wants to hear. It's it's everything around because all of a sudden the muskrat was telling me that the little ducks, the family of ducks were sitting in the bush. They're already sitting there waiting for me to tell the story. And all I had to do was tell a story. And there was a lot of beings that were sitting around in that spot because that's the exact spot where I had made a commitment and told people what I was going to do. To me, that's all part of honesty and wekwatisin. They say wekwatisin to live the right way, to to take actions that don't harm anybody else in their life. So then I realized that somebody is listening and somebody does see. So today that consciousness is becomes more stronger to know that what did I say? What did I say I was going to do? And to make sure that I follow through and to really think about, is my actions going to hurt anybody? Are they going to hurt anybody? So I tried to make sure that my actions don't hurt the people around me or anybody else for that matter, whether it's the wind or the trees, my environment, to become more conscious of it. So I thought I'd share that story. To me, it's like I have to think about it for 4 years, and those memories continue to teach me right to today. And I'm just amazed at how much change is in every little incident that's happened in my life. And a few years down the road, I'm learning something else from that same incident. Minsaguminik, miigwach vizinda yeg.